had the pleasure of inducting an old classmate of mine, Hap Wilson. And I think Hap would be the first to recognize that he is the antithesis of Harold.
Oh, you don't know. We're a lot closer than you might think.
Yeah, well, maybe. Hap was here in the late 60s and escaped in 1970 at the same time I did. And we might call him the first barefooter around King, and he did us an honor today. He put on a pair of shoes because he didn't like wearing shoes that much. And his career as an environmentalist, nature writer, speaks to that. He likes to feel the earth, I'm quite sure. Hap, I know him as Dave, but Hap, as he likes to be called now, started off as an illustrator. And he was well known at King at the time for his illustrations in the yearbook. And there's, they're not here, the former vice principal and principal. There was one that I remember so well called The Backseat Driver. And it was a beauty. And anyone that was here at the time recalls this cartoon. And he illustrated in our yearbook. And you just have to look through the yearbook. And anything that looked like it came from Mad Magazine, it was likely David's or Hap's work. And I was looking through the yearbooks this morning, and one of the comments, I think it was from your grade 10 year, was that you might end up becoming the editor of Mad Magazine. So you were recognized as for your drawing talents. It got you into trouble the odd time, I'm sure. And after you left here, I understand you used those talents for a short period of time, and then you found your true calling, which was a naturalist. You have gone on to become a famous naturalist, environmentalist, canoeist. You've written several books on it. It is your life, obviously, and you're very proud of it. Hap has won a series of awards for his works and written several books. In 1995, he won the National Resources Council of America Award for Best Environmental Book for that year. Just recently, he was presented with the Bill Mason Award for lifetime conservation efforts. He uses his talents to lead wilderness expeditions. He's a renowned canoeist, and his project right now that's taking him, I think, away from the rivers a little bit is to develop a natural reserve at a new resort on the west side of Lake Russell called Redleaves. And he's dove into that project, and he seems to be fairly excited about it, and he should be, because I think Hap was one of those early people that recognized the importance of our environment. Many of us from the 60s and 70s, the environment wasn't a big issue. It has become a big issue, but Hap recognized the significance of the environment and the damage we were doing to the environment at a very early age, and set about to do what he could to protect our environment. And we owe people like Hap a debt of gratitude for protecting our wildlife, our naturalists, our nature reserves, and so on. And I'm proud to say that I know Hap Wilson. And keep up the good work, and I'm happy to induct you into our case of distinction. If you'd like to come forward and say a few words.
Thank you, John. Brought a tear to my eye, actually. Yeah, I had. No, I'm glad you didn't say anything about being a dysfunctional student. Beyond not wearing shoes to class, but I was doing a slide presentation in Port Carling a couple of years ago, and this guy tapped me on the shoulder after the show, and he said, "How's your long-term memory?" I said, "Well, probably not very good." And then he looked vaguely familiar. He said, "Well, I'm Ross McClure. I'm from King City High School." And I said, "Oh my God, that brought back so many memories." And then I thought, well, he mentioned the case of distinction, and I was, yeah, that's great. go for all these, professors and doctors and hockey players, but, for a guy who had spent most of his time out in the hallway and, building cabins and going on canoe trips and winter camping and didn't spend a lot of time here, why would you be asking me to be here? But it's such a great honor. I was going to drive my motorcycle, park it on the steps out here and come in with my shorts and bare feet. But I thought that was a little bit too extravagant. But I do thank Tom Ellison and certainly one of my great mentors, John Campbell, and his wife Jean, who called me as soon as I moved into Muskoka. He said, "Hey, come on, I live on the Big East River, let's go for a canoe trip." So I did, and we've kept up a nice little relationship for the last several years. And always admired John because I think he saw beyond the dysfunctional aspect of my student life here, and possibly saw some future in what I was doing, and I appreciate that. I do sincerely apologize to Mr. Fiddler for falling asleep in his class on occasion, but rest assured, history has and always will play a big part in my life, so I appreciate that. Yeah, it was one of the toughest things I know in my life. It's been an adventure, and I've been very fortunate. And sometimes it takes decades to reflect back on the things that were important in your life. And certainly high school did play an important part. The teachers, the students, the extracurricular activities, old friends, good to see again. And certainly was, for somebody who didn't have many parameters in the time of the world when it was going through such turmoil in the late 60s, early 70s, it sort of modified, gave me direction. And I sincerely appreciate it more now than I did back then. Certainly the time spent at King City, and I do appreciate the honor of being inducted into the case of distinction. Thank you.